Grüße und willkommen auf Ohrter In. Heute wir machen authentisch Bayerische Brezeln. Greetings and welcome to Ohrter In. Today we're making authentic Bavarian pretzels. These hold a special place in my heart thanks to my heritage. Just like a good shot of Jägermeister, they ignite a fire in my soul that's hard to describe. Let's make some.
The cast of characters for pretzels is much like any other dough, but with some very important exceptions. We have our all-purpose flour and rye flour, our various temperatures of water, yeast and salt, and instead of any sugar or honey, we're going to be using barley malt syrup. I have absolutely no idea what else I'm going to use this for, because I'm just going to make a lot of pretzels. And also, lye. This stuff is incredibly dangerous. If you've ever seen the movie Fight Club, you know exactly why. Is it necessary? Hell yes, I wouldn't be using it if it wasn't necessary. So find some in a chemical supply store or the internet near you. The order of magnitude on this one's gonna be a 5. They're dead simple to make, but dealing with lye can be a bit tricky, so it's not gonna be a 2 or anything. The dough begins in a small bowl with 4 tablespoons of warm water, 1 package of dry active yeast, and our barley syrup. Now, if you've ever heard the term slow as molasses, well, that ain't got shit on barley syrup. This stuff is, like tar. But it's the only way of making these things authentic, and to be fair, it actually tastes pretty good if you try it. Once you got it in the bowl after about 15 minutes, just stir it all together and let it sit for about 10 minutes or so. You're going to notice it's starting to get a nice frothy head like a beer. That lets you know that the yeast is alive. If you don't get that frothy head, bust out another packet or perhaps go to the store to buy a whole new pouch. Once our sugar and yeast mixture looks good, we're going to get ready our dry ingredients. Yes, I am using a bucket. There's a lot of space in there. What do you want from me? It works really well. So first thing we do is get our all-purpose flour mixed in there, and then our salt, and then our rye flour. Get that all mixed together with your fingertips. There's no need to sift this together as some other recipes would have you do. We then bring on an ingredient I completely forgot to put in the intro, about 3 tablespoons of butter. I like my butter at room temperature. It's a lot easier to work into this dough. Get it into the dough, and then what you want to start doing is basically mushing it together with your fingers, continuously introducing additional flour into the butter. You never want to use the palm of your hand. You want to just kind of nom on it like your hand's a dinosaur or something. Nom, 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 nom. Once your flour is sufficiently crumbly, we can bring on the barley brew. Get that dumped into the flour, and then take the reserved cold water and rinse out the bowl so we don't miss out on any of the deliciousness. Stir the mixture together with your fingers. It's going to seem a bit wet to begin with, but that's okay. You're going to keep going until it becomes kind of hard to work with in the bowl, and then we get it dumped out onto the counter and start smushing it together. You do need to knead. A good 15 minutes of smushing this dough into the counter is going to produce that chewy texture that we're hunting for. Now, the kneading process is a pretty simple one. Basically, you're just kind of smushing the dough into the counter over and over again, continuously kind of folding it over. That way, you're kind of mixing the ingredients as much as you're kind of smushing it. After your 15 minutes of kneading is over, get your dough into your cleaned, lightly oiled bucket and cover it with some saran wrap. We're going to leave this in a nice warm place for about 2 hours or until it doubles in size. After a few beers and a nice nap, it's double dough time. Get your dough turned out onto the counter, knock all the air out of it, and form it into a loaf that kind of looks like this. At this point, you're going to make a judgment call. Get your dough onto a cutting board, and then we can try chopping it into 8 pretzels. We can try chopping it into 12 pretzels. It really doesn't matter. I don't try for anything. I just chop up the dough into some random bits. It's good to have some smaller pretzels mixed in with the bigger ones in case you're not so hungry. Get the chunks rounded off in your hand and cover them up in some cling film. That way they don't dry off. You're going to let them rest for about 15 minutes. They've been through a lot.
They're starting to come together. Alright. Before we get these things into the oven, and after we get them formed, we will be dunking them in our lye solution. I want to take this opportunity to remind you that lye is incredibly dangerous. You can burn yourself chemically, so don't act like an idiot. Be an adult, and let's make some pretzels.
The formation of the dough is actually a pretty easy process. We want to make sure we have a nice clean work surface and some appropriately dressed and greased sheet pans. Take one of the pieces of dough and knock some of the air out of it. It'll probably have rise just a little bit, and you want to get the bubbles out or it'll be harder to work with. If you've ever made one of those shitty snakes in like 2nd grade crafts class, you're going to be at home here. All we want to do is roll out the dough with kind of an uneven pressure, squeezing from the inside out. You're looking for a fat middle, thin ends, and about 20 inches long. Once you get the dough out to here, we're going to hold it to the board for about 10 seconds. This is going to let the dough relax and make it a bit easier for the next step. Now take the 2 ends and lift the dough up off the counter. Give it about 1 or 2 quick spins in the air, lay it back down, and then press the arms into the sides of the pretzel. Congratulations, you've just made your very first pretzel. Mwahaha! Now let's try it one more time. Roll your dough out, grab the ends, lift, and flip. It's actually pretty easy to do. You'll probably have to practice it once or twice, and if you screw it up, don't worry about it. The dough isn't sticky at all, so you can make corrections after the fact. Could you just lay these things out as sticks and cook them as is? Yeah, I guess so, but it's not nearly as cool and not nearly as authentic. Give it a shot. You'll surprise yourself. Get your delicious lovelies wrapped up in some cling film to prevent them from drying out, and then we begin to make our lye solution. Alright, now let's remember to be really fucking careful, okay? We have our stainless steel vessel and mixing utensil, 4 cups of water, and 2 tablespoons of our lye. We're going to mix this up after putting on our gloves.
Alright, let's make some soap. Pretzels.
Now, get your lye sprinkled into your water and then immediately start stirring. After you start stirring, you're going to notice that the solution starts to actually heat up. This is the primary reason you never add water to lye. You add the lye to the water. If you add the water to the lye, what will happen is the very beginning, when the first splashes of water hit the lye, that will become superheated and could possibly blow up in your face. So, lye into water and mix until dissolved. Now, one by one, take each pretzel and dunk them into the lye. You're not looking to soak them here, you're only going for about 10 or 15 seconds. The arms of the pretzels might come apart, and they might also get a bit kind of floppy and loopy, but that's okay. Once they bake, they'll all come together. Get them back out and onto your sheet pan, and then we're going to hit them with a little bit of salt. You can use nuts, you can use seeds, you can actually cover these in almost anything you want that won't burn in a 400-degree oven for 10 minutes. I like to go with kosher salt because I'm an obvious fan of Alton Brown, and I really think it's pretty much almost the only thing these things need. After being lied to, take the pretzels and toss them into a preheated 400-degree oven for about 15 minutes or until golden brown and delicious. You want to take the baking time to safely dispose of your lye according to any federal or state regulations. What you'll end up with is some of the softest, flakiest, and most golden brown delicious pretzels you've ever eaten in your life. If you've only had a pretzel at like a ballpark, you've not really had a pretzel. Make these and impress your family today.
These pretzels are so delicious, I am so happy. Thanks for watching, and remember, I make these videos to try to inspire my family and friends to get into the kitchen. So do it. Warum bestehen Sie, wann Sie hangen kann? Und Ohrter In. Danke für das Aufpassen.